Good morning, students. In our earlier classes, we already studied matter in our surrounding and is matter around us pure. Today we discussed a new chapter, atoms and molecules. Around 500 before Christ, our Indian philosophers and Greek philosophers know about the matter divisibility, because if we shall divide the matter in small particle, then ultimate particle, after that we can't further divide that smallest particle known as atoms. Our Indian philosopher Maharshi Kanad, if we divide that padarth, that substance, the smallest particle, he gave the name Parmanu. The same principle further explained by another philosopher, Pakudha Katama, different that Parmanu can't exist, they combined, they form a combined form of a matter. In similar time, near 500 before Christ, Greek philosopher Democritus and Leucippus also extend this principle, the divisibility principle. If we divide the matter, then it's come into smaller particle. That smallest particle, the Democritus give the name is atoms. Atoms means indivisible. Indivisible. We can't divide into smaller particles. So on that era, near 500 before Christ, they don't know about elements and compound. They know only matter or padarth. In these days, we know about elements and compounds. Earlier, late 18th century, a French scientist, Antoine Laurent Lavoisier and Joseph Louis Proust give some law of chemical combination, how they react, how the different compounds formation. So that known as law of chemical combination. The French scientist Antoine Laurent Lavoisier give the first law known as law of conservation of mass, and that co-workers means Joseph Louis Proust give the law of constant proportion and definite proportion. Students, today we go in detail law of conservation of mass and law of constant proportion and Dalton's atomic theory. So now we will explain law of conservation of mass by the activity. According to Antoine Laurent Lavoisier, law of conservation of mass, students, in a chemical change, means in a chemical reaction, mass neither created nor destroyed. It means mass of the reactant is equal to mass of the product is remaining same in a reaction. Means mass neither created and nor destroyed in a reaction. So we display activity, we take two different groups, X and Y, given as per your NCERT book. We take different samples, barium chloride, zinc sulfate, copper sulfate, sodium carbonate, lead nitrate, potassium iodide. We take different substance, a known amount, and then we mix, then you see what happen. Now students, we want to explain law of conservation of mass. According to that mass neither created nor destroyed in a reaction. We are taking an example, barium chloride. So at first students, we make barium chloride aqueous solution. So you know barium chloride, the white crystals we earlier discussed in second chapter. So at first we make aqueous solution, barium chloride aqueous solution, transparent solution. So this one is barium chloride aqueous solution. In another beaker, we make zinc sulfate. Zinc sulfate also white salt, and we dissolve in small amount of water. We earlier discussed in second chapter. This one is zinc sulfate solution. Now, how can we explain law of conservation of mass? We take known amount of that any solution. Either we take barium chloride or zinc chloride. So we take barium chloride in this conical flask. We take the amount, what amount of this barium chloride in fix. And another test tube, we take zinc sulfate in this. This zinc sulfate and barium chloride I placed in a conical flask in such a way they can't mix by putting them. Then I placed a cork, tightly cork. Then what I will do? Then I mix two is in this way. So students, the two chemicals are mixed, so they convert as, in this way you get white precipitate. So now we take the weight earlier of the reactant, and after the reaction the weight remaining same. So this confirm law of conservation of mass. If we take the weight earlier and after that reaction both the remaining same, this is known as law of conservation of mass. Because no gas release out, we have to take the weight also earlier and after, both the weight are similar. Another activity we can explain by taking another group from these X and Y. We can take copper sulfate and sodium carbonate, or lead nitrate and potassium iodide. Then I will show you another salt, lead nitrate. Students, this one is lead nitrate, again white salt, white crystal. So I can dissolve lead nitrate aqueous solution. In this lead nitrate, in another beaker I make potassium iodide solution. Students, now we showing another activity, lead nitrate mix in potassium iodide solution. What happen? At first we take lead nitrate aqueous solution, then we mix potassium iodide. Known amount of solvent we mix in this. At first we measure before the reaction weight and after the reaction, both are same. You can see by this activity. So this one is lead nitrate aqueous solution. I placed in conical flask. In another small test tube, I take potassium iodide solution. This potassium iodide solution I placed in a conical flask and then tightly placed over this, above this. Then what happen, you can see when I mix, then you can observe yellow precipitate. This indicates this one is a chemical reaction. Students, how can we confirm law of conservation of mass? Suppose that we measure before the reaction, after the reaction both the mass is equal, then this confirm law of conservation of mass. Mass neither created nor destroyed in a reaction. The reaction, something happen, precipitate occurs, temperature increase or decrease, gas release out, so that gas also we have to control by using the stopper or cork. So in this way we can see the law of conservation of mass. Now we explain law of constant proportion. Second law of chemical combination is known as law of constant proportion or definite proportion. This law given by a French scientist Joseph Louis Proust in 1794, means late 18th century. In a given compound, element always present as definite or constant proportion by mass. The compound you get from anywhere, any source, and who prepared it, that do not depend. For example, water. Water you can take from anywhere, means groundwater, rainwater, marine water, sea water, lake water. The water should not be contaminated, but the composition of water remaining constant. We can explain by example. Water, we know the formula H2O. In this two element, hydrogen and oxygen present. Hydrogen and oxygen. So what is their mass ratio? We will discuss later on how can we find out the mass of atoms. So hydrogen mass we know 1 U, so 2 hydrogen mass is 2 we can take, and oxygen mass we know 16 given in your NCERT book. So when we take the simplest ratio, then this ratio is 1:8. Students, 2 1 out 2, 2 8 is 16. In this way 1:8 means in water the hydrogen and oxygen mass always found 1:8. How can we explain? If we take the 9 gram water, if we take 9 gram water, in this 9 gram we found 1 gram hydrogen, 1 gram hydrogen and 8 gram oxygen. We can explain one more example by taking example of ammonia. Ammonia a gas, and that ammonia formula we can explain after that, that is ammonia NH3. So we find the mass of nitrogen and hydrogen. Ammonia is made by two elements, nitrogen and hydrogen. So it mass, nitrogen mass 14 and hydrogen mass is 1, but 3 hydrogen, so total mass is 3. So this one is a simplest ratio. So we can't further simplify this ratio. It means if we have 17 gram ammonia, 17 gram ammonia, then we have out of 17 14 gram nitrogen, 14 gram nitrogen and 3 gram hydrogen. So we can explain another example like carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide. In this, carbon mass is 12 and oxygen mass we know 16. 16 to the 32. So when we simplify this, then we can divide by 4. So 3:8. So 3:8 is simplest ratio of carbon dioxide. It means if you have 11 gram carbon dioxide, then 3 gram carbon and 8 gram oxygen. Students, according to this law, in a compound, element always present constant proportion by mass. Why? Because atom is can't destroy, we can't create. So mass also we can't destroy and create. So mass always remaining constant. But in a compound, the relative number of atom always constant, that is whole number, like this H2O, ammonia, carbon dioxide and others formula compounds formula we will explain later on by Dalton's atomic theory and different model given by the for how can the chemical combine to each other. So in late 18th century, the Lavoisier gave the law of conservation of mass in 1789, and the law of constant proportion given 1794. Means late 18th century, these they know about element and compound in detail. After that, a new theory given, that is a British scientist, John Dalton atomic theory. Now we explain John Dalton atomic theory. Now student, we explain atomic theory. A British scientist gave this theory in 1808, that known as Dalton's atomic theory. In this theory, he explained all the law of chemical combination, means law of conservation of mass and law of constant proportion. Students, according to the Dalton's postulates, all matter is made of very tiny particles. Everything is made by very small particles. That smallest particle known as atoms. Give the first postulate. Second postulates, atoms are indivisible, which can't be created or destroyed in a chemical reaction. This postulates explain law of conservation of mass, because atoms we can't destroy and create, then in a chemical reaction atoms are react to each other, they form different compounds. So that can explain law of conservation of mass. According to this hypothesis, atoms can't be created nor destroyed in a chemical reaction. Other one, friends, I am showing you some elements model like this. Small atoms made like this: carbon, oxygen, nitrogen, we can represent by a model. So these different elements have different atom. Same element have same kind atom. If we take carbon, so all atoms are similar. They have same mass, similar chemical property. Different element, different mass, different their physical and chemical property. So these two postulates, because atoms in a given element, means for example this one is carbon. Carbon generally represent black color. So a given element, all elements are identical in mass and their chemical property. Different element, different mass and different their chemical property. Another one, atoms combine in the ratio of small whole number. This is very important. When different element combined form a compound, then they form small whole number. For example, I am showing you the water molecule. This one oxygen and two hydrogen. They are combined. So their formula is H2O. So small whole number means 2:1. This ratio. Another compound like sodium oxide, potassium oxide, we write the different compounds chemical formula in this chapter later on. Then you can understand the small whole numbers of the elements. Now sixth postulate is relative number and kind of atom are constant in a compound. Relative number means the comparison when we write the formula H2O, relative number of means 2:1. This number is always constant in a compound. The number of atom is not changed in a given compound. So according to this relative number, we can explain law of constant proportion by mass and definite proportion by mass. Because the relative number and mass of the element we can't create and destroy. So such types are Dalton's postulates give about atomic theory. According to this theory, everything is matter made by small particles. Atoms are indivisible. We can't destroy and create in a chemical reaction. Same element, same atom, same property, different element, different their mass and different their chemical property. different elements combined form a compound. In compound, relative number of atoms are constant. They are always remaining as small whole number. So these postulates you write in your notebook. Now we explain some problems given in your NCERT book related on law of conservation of mass and law of definite proportion by mass. Students, in your NCERT textbook a problem given at page number 32. Open your book and see the numerical given in a reaction. 5.3 gram of sodium carbonate reactant reacted with 6 gram of ethanoic acid. The products were 2.2 gram of carbon dioxide, 0.09 gram water and 8.2 gram of sodium ethanoate, so that these observations are in agreement with the law of conservation of mass. So now we explain this problem. First we write sodium carbonate 5.3 gram. 5.3 gram given sodium carbonate and carbon ethanoic acid given 6 gram. 6 gram ethanoic acid given, and we got the products were 2.2 gram carbon dioxide, 0.9 gram water and 8.2 gram sodium ethanoate. 8.2 gram sodium ethanoate. Students, now we have to explain law of conservation of mass. Then how can we explain? We know mass of the reactant is equal to mass of the product. In a reaction, if a general reaction represent A plus B change into C plus D. In this reaction we know that left hand side are reactants, right hand sides are products. Mass of the reactant should be equal mass of the product. Now we total sum mass of the reactant and total sum mass of the product. If both are equal, then this explains law of conservation of mass. Now you check the students total sum both side of the mass. So left hand side mass of the reactant is 5 and 6.3 means 11.3 gram mass of the reactant. Now we total sum of product side, then you can see 8, 10, 9 point that are 3, 11, both are also similar, 11.3 gram. So when we total sum both side mass of the reactant is equal to mass of the product, both are equal. This confirm law of conservation of mass. Mass neither created in a reaction nor destroyed. It means mass of the reactant is equal to mass of the product. So this reaction is a agreement of law of conservation of mass. In this way we can find, suppose we have to given for substance and fifth we can easily identify by that this law of conservation of mass. Students, next problem given at page number 33. The question is this: hydrogen and oxygen. Hydrogen and oxygen combine in the ratio of 1:8 by mass to form water. What mass of oxygen gas would be required to react completely with 3 gram of hydrogen gas? Question is given hydrogen and oxygen. Hydrogen and oxygen their ratio is given 1:8, form a compound, we know that is water. So what mass of oxygen gas would be required to react completely with 3 gram of hydrogen? We have to given the hydrogen is given 3 gram and find out what mass of the oxygen gas is react completely with hydrogen. So students, we know both they form hydrogen and oxygen, they react, they form water. In this way, if we have 1 gram hydrogen, then 8 gram oxygen react, they form 9 gram water. 9 gram water. But if it's convert 3 times, then 8 also convert into 3 times. It's also multiply by 3 because it's increased 3 times. So then we need how many gram of oxygen? 8 into 3. It means 24 gram oxygen we needed. Why? Because in a given compound, element always present definite proportion by mass. So if 1 gram hydrogen react, then we get 8 gram. If 3 gram, then we need 8 into 3 means 24 gram oxygen we required in this numerical. So complete this. Is which postulates of Dalton atomic theory is the result of the law of conservation of mass? Students, law of conservation of mass means atoms neither created nor destroyed in a reaction. It means mass neither created nor destroyed in a reaction. That postulates is confirmed law of conservation of mass. And which postulates confirm law of constant proportion? Means in a given compound, element always present by a small whole number and relative number of elements always constant in a compound. That postulate explain law of constant proportion. Students, next problem in exercise at page number 43. A 0.24 gram sample of a compound of oxygen and boron was found by analysis to contain 0.096 gram of boron and 0.144 gram of oxygen. Calculate the percentage composition of the compound by weight. Students, how can we solve? The given sample amount is, sample mass is given 0.24 gram. That is total mass of a compound. This one is compound, and this compound have 2 elements, oxygen and boron. In this oxygen amount is given 0.144 gram and boron given 0.096 gram. Then is question, what is the percentage composition? We have to find out what is the percentage composition of oxygen and boron in a compound. Then how can we find? Students, percentage, how can we find out? If a student got out of 40 15 marks, then how can we find out percentage? 15 by 40 into 100. In similar way, so the mass of the element is given and total mass given, we can find percentage easily. So oxygen percent, oxygen, how can we find? Mass of oxygen given divided by total mass of compound, into 100. This one is formula. So now we write 0.144 divided by 0.24 into 100. We can write 2.0 or 0.24. So now we solve this, then you easily can cut by the table of 24. If we remove this decimal point like this, then easily can remove. So lower side 0.2 and upper side 3. So 14. If we remove this, 24 1 is 24 and this only 14.4. So now is 0.6 and then you multiply, then it is 60%. We find 60% of oxygen. In similar way, we can find boron percentage. Boron percentage, how can we find? Mass of the boron is given 0.096 divided by total mass 0.24 into 100. If we solve this, then we get, remove decimal point 0.96, then find out 40%. By solving this, 24 4 96, easily can find. Student, in this way we can find any element mass percentage, the mass of the substance by total mass into 100. So today we discussed about what we studied now, different law of chemical combination, law of conservation of mass and constant proportion, Dalton's atomic theory. So write in your notebook and solve the difference problem given in your NCERT books or inside in textbook also. Tomorrow we will discuss about different symbols of atoms and how can we write their chemical formula. So students, today we finish this chapter at this point, and like and subscribe, share the needy student. Thank you. Have a nice day.